we're early. Sometimes it's good to be early. But our show starts at a specific time. You should remember that. Let's get started then, shall we?
Dillon, I don't give a what you think about a co-host and freshen up my show.
It might not be flashy, but sometimes you just got to toss another person to make a statement.
My show's about the People's Podcast. Everyone has a voice. I don't need a co-host. Go listen to one of the other 5,000 shows with a co-host because they don't have a mouth like the big guy.
Opie, are you a career killer with Tim Sabian, yourself, and many others?
Be myself. Never had real issues with those people. They just understood that I was a different bird. The rest of them, though, I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm paying your salary because the ratings are so good, so shut up.
Right.
Live from
somewhere.
It's
Dillon.
Good whatever to you whenever you are watching this episode of Co-Host Auditions. I am your co-host, Dillon. This is my self-taped audition for our host today, Phil Elmore. He is a flashlight black belt, as you can tell by the book he released on flashlight defense. But he has gone into the shadows, which probably isn't the best for someone with a flashlight. We can find you pretty well, and you're quite the big fellow, Phil Elmore, but this is the second community that he's been run off of the internet. The martial arts community wasn't a big fan of him. He tried to dive into the dabbleverse by making fun of Stuttering Johns. It did his channel wonders, and you can tell from the views that his videos got that when he talked about Stuttering John, he would get 1,000-2,000 views. When he wouldn't, he would get in the hundreds. Kind of similar to me. When I get on a subject that random people want to see, I get thousands of views, and a couple dozen. Actually, it's only a few that got 1,000. Surprise hit with the Charlotte Dobray video. But the last one with Some Ordinary Gamers, I thought that was a particularly good episode, but the algorithm did not push that out. And in fact, it knocked me down about 10 views. I don't know what makes views illegitimate, but it decided, hey, this co-host audition you did with Mudahar that has around 30 views, let's knock that down to around 20 views and not push that out anymore. And since Phil isn't that popular when he's not talking about an incredible lolcow, I'm not sure how well this episode's going to do, but he did the stupidest thing that he could possibly do. In a community built on goofing on people, Phil Elmore let people know what his weak spots were, which was goofing on his brother and goofing on his sexuality. The troll himself, Vince the Lawyer, found his Instagram account was following some porn stars, some of them women, and that's public, Phil Elmore. If you want to hide your homosexuality, you don't follow Lance Hart, who bangs both men and women. So I guess if you were just following that fellow, you would have an excuse there of, no, I was watching him get pegged while he pegged a woman, instead of, actually, I don't know who he was following. I didn't look that far into it. Thank you for joining live. When you join live, you can get your name up right here during the episode. When you join afterwards, you help my views. So thank you both to the live viewers and to the non-live viewers. Here, let's check out this looking like a goblin today. Well, he looks like a goblin all the time. And we are a tag team. He is wearing a collared shirt in one shade of green. My collared shirt is in another shade of green. Kind of looks just like the outfit I had when I worked as a bag boy at Martin's food store. Also, kind of like Jerry from Rick and Morty. If I was doing Jerry cosplay on Rick and Morty, this shirt would be very well. But this was Phil's final episode of Surviving the News, the non-Stuttering John episodes that he would drop that didn't get particularly good views, but he had fun doing them, I guess. Well, he's gone. He speaks well, and bring that nice, well-speaking voice. Well-speaking voice sounds like that there would be an echo in it, that you're actually yelling down the well. Hello, hello. Take it away, Phil.
Good morning and welcome to Surviving the News, your sometimes occasionally daily podcast in which I have opinions and I tell you them. I am your host, Phil Elmore. Surviving the News is a production of philelmore.com. The SDN Morning News is your 20 to 30 minute update on the news.
Do I have this on 1 1/4? No, it sounds like he's talking fast, doesn't it? And G Rob saying R.I.P. Phil to his channel, but looking at the age and the size of him, that may be correct at any time, any day now.
News of the world, hopefully with commentary to help
You
you
want to
get
lose
through
that weight at that
the
age.
dystopian clown world in which we all live. Fair warning, I still have a cold. Welcome to 2024. 2023 was not a great year. It seems like 2020 was a dumpster fire, 2021, 2022, and now
Yeah, 2019 was my last good year too. 2020 was shaping up very well, but then 2020 happened, and we twiddled our thumbs inside, and it ruined all my grandiose plans that were looking good to happen. And Electra says that she likes Phil, even though he put her to sleep. I liked Phil until he revealed he was one of the people calling up comedy clubs, telling them to cancel Stuttering John's show. That got me to cross my arms and turn my back. He does speak well. He has some good insights when talking about the incredible goof, the incredible sulk. That's right. I think G Rob might have dropped that. The incredible sulk that is Stuttering John. But once he revealed, I was calling up comedy clubs, and he didn't feel remorse about it. Like that, you're taking away someone's job. Stuttering John has so little amounts of income, avenues of income left. It's fucking gay ops to go in, absolutely Spurg Snake, gay ops to go in and be like, no, this like one way he has remaining to make an income, let's shut that shit down. So that's what got me to turn on Phil Elmore.
2023. I don't know as any of us will be sorry to see it gone, but I thought it might be fun on New Year's Day for your morning update to go through a little bit of what we learned during 2023. This is actually a series of articles
like a PBS show. At the end, today I learned.
In CNN's top 100 digital stories of 2023.
I imagine you're not going to get to all 100. This is just slightly shy of 25 minutes. You'd have to really roll through all these 100 to every face he makes is hilarious. I don't think I'll be doing a second episode, but let me just Command Shift 3 on that face. That is a nice one for episode 2 if I do another Phil Elmore.
Let's see. What do they list as number 1? Damar Hamlin's health update. I don't remember who that is, and I don't care. Of course, there was the missing...
I don't care. There's another fun Opie and Anthony drop to have on the board. Oh, I should have pulled drops. Well, we are stuck inside, a lot of us, in this cold, damn weather, so I do have the opportunity to pull some drops. If I spend an inordinate amount of time editing the TikTok Around the Clock episode. I believe the next episode of Cohost Auditions will be on Thursday. I haven't booked a guest for chatting with beloved chatters. I think that'll be Tony Khan. I do need to go in and edit down his stuff, so I really want to do Tony Khan. And that, once again, that's a clout chasing one. He's big in the news for being a man-child and thinking that he's winning.
Titanic subcrew killed after the catastrophic implosion. The Titan submersible that was exploring or trying to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. The big letdown.
Which, by the way, was a big look at this, what's going on here. They knew that they were dead long before that they reported about this. Like, they were dead pretty fucking quickly. So that really blew up. I wasn't trying to follow that story, but on TikTok, every other swipe was talking about that millionaire submersible made with just tape and glue. And very fascinating. It's and that's when I started saying that the guillotine of the new era is a tin can, a tin can that we shoot up into space or we shoot down into the ocean to get Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake into. You want to go into space? You want to go underwater? Here's a tin can. Us poors will help you out. Careful, Bert Kreischer. You might be next.
Down there, it was a very Al Capone's vault sort of letdown, was that they were dead the whole time. There was no race to find them. There was no dramatic
And they
attempt
knew.
to save their lives.
That was
Basically,
there was a big cover up of what was really going on.
something cracked and went pop.
The powers that be, the shadow government, was doing something that they were like, looky here. Isn't it funny that all these riches died in a tin can of their own doing? Yes, it is fun. We'll watch this for a while and not look what you're doing behind our backs.
Pop, and they all died instantly, if they're lucky. Let's see. There was mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's where we are as a country. Another mass shooting. Out of the 100 biggest stories, there's got to be several mass shootings. Welcome to America, folks.
Schwarzenegger had nice things to say about Bruce Willis now that Bruce Willis is suffering from some kind of aphasia or dementia. Basically, he's not really home anymore, and that's very sad. Bruce Willis became increasingly difficult later in his life. He kind of got...
Bruce Willis really became an asshole and full of himself long before that his brain started eating itself. Kevin Smith has a whole routine on just the ones who yell out, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, I hate the most." Yeah, he lost who he was, and that is a problem with getting rich and famous and being in Hollywood. Even I, on the small scale that I had success for a few years, was getting full of myself and kind of realized, oh, I am really full of my fucking self. It just happens when you're on set all day and there's complete departments to come and fan you when you're hot as the star or feed you. There's 2 departments to feed you. There's craft services and there's catering. There's 2 departments to make sure that you are fed.
Got too good for acting, and now some of his behavior makes more sense. And I know he kind of had a falling out with the Expendables crowd and Stallone and Schwarzenegger, but basically there's no one there to argue with anymore, so I'm sure all that's water under the bridge.
Red Letter Media did a video before it came out that his brain was eating itself, the Bruce Willis movie factory, and they kind of theorized, hey, maybe, and that was very intelligent of Bruce Willis to say yes to everything when he could to get those last paychecks before he could not physically act anymore. So plenty of fodder of fucking awful, terrible movies. Bruce Willis's last 2, 3 dozen, however many it was, because he was pumping it out. Very intelligent to give me that paycheck. I don't give a fuck. And he really did stop caring about the quality of his work. There are some actors like Bruce Willis, when he was in a project that he didn't like, he didn't give it his all. And then you have someone like Raul Julia, who unfortunately passed away after his magnum opus of an awful role in the Street Fighter movie. He realized he was in a shitty movie, and he just kept going further. He took his performance so far over the top unnecessarily, and no one pulled him back in. Jeremy Irons did the same thing. I think it was Dungeons and Dragons, realizing he was in a shitty movie, and it just went fucking completely out of control, and no one stopped him. That's the 2 ways that an actor realizing they're in something terrible can go, is just half-assing it. What do they care? Or just sabotaging it the other way of going just complete camp and goofball, as Jeremy Irons and Raul Julia did.
There was an ingredient in stevia that has been linked to heart attacks and strokes. That's something called erythritol. So if you enjoy stevia, just maybe do a little research.
No, not stevia. Fresca, as you see Spurg Snake demanding. He is humble, but we still need our goddamn Fresca. Oh, those the carbonated waters, those were very popular on set. The cans of carbonated water that the PAs had to pick up at the end of the day. Very efficient crew, but we were a messy crew. I hope that I didn't add to that too much.
Let's see. A white homeowner accused of shooting a black teen who went to the wrong house in Kansas.
A white homo-ner? Are you talking about yourself, Mr. Elmore? A white homo-ner?
Let's see. A white homeowner accused of shooting a black teen who went to the wrong house in Kansas will face 2 felony charges, officials announced.
Boy, you're just tons of fun today, aren't you, Phil?
I think I remember that story. Let's take a look at that because that's. Let's see.
Sticking to the give me my fancy waters, King of all diffs says liquid death is so gay. But what an advertising campaign. Big thumbs up on that advertising campaign. Be careful, G-Rob. There is shit going down in Kansas, and it's not just a twister this time.
Let's see. A white 84-year-old homeowner who allegedly shot and wounded Ralph Yarl, a black teen, after the 16-year-old went to the wrong home to pick up.
It is funny how we're still kind of interchangeably using gay as a way to describe someone's sexuality, and also back in like the 1990s sense of that's so stupid, that's so gay. Kind of like the South Park episode where the bikers they were saying "Go away, fags." There goes the monetization on this video. But then they were like, "Oh, you thought we meant gay people?" No, where the definition changes over time.
Pick up his siblings will face 2 felony charges. Andrew Lester will face charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. Authorities have issued a warrant for his arrest, and he's not currently in custody as of this article. Oh, here's the latest. Excuse me.
Mute button. I do miss that mute button sometimes myself, but mute button there, Phil. Mute button and tissues off to the side. Something that last time I did my Kevin Brennan episode, he still hadn't gotten down after all these years. And fucking Stuttering John again with his... I did see the Carl goofing on him recently where he had toilet paper. That's only slightly less embarrassing than using your hand. Fucking tissues, fucking mute button, folks.
The white homeowner accused of shooting a black teen who rang his doorbell turned himself in and was released on bail. So, yeah, not sure what... I don't think he's had that trial yet. That was a few months ago. And, of course, Ben Crump is involved. Wherever there's a racially charged news story, you can expect Ben Crump to turn up in the middle of it.
I've kind of gone ignorant to the news cycle since it turned from just informing you and letting you come to your own conclusion to which side are you on? Entertainment program. Really, the downfall of news was the 24-hour news channel. They didn't do investigative reporting. Cost too much. Gee whiz, we're supposed to do John Stossel investigative reporting and spend our budget? No, just get talking heads on here so they can spout what their opinion is, and it's news adjacent.
There was Jeremy Renner's horrible accident. He's made a remarkable recovery since getting run over. Like, originally when they announced that story, it was
Renner got run over by a snowblower.
He was hurt by a snowblower, but no, this was a giant, like, snow tractor.
You don't put your dick into a vacuum or a snowblower. It blows snow. It doesn't blow people.
And it basically just mangled him. He's lucky to have lived at all. So when last I saw him, he was moving around.
Lucky not to have Anton Yeltoned himself.
With the help of a cane, and seems to be doing quite well.
Luckily, getting around with the help of his cane and not the help of the Undertaker, that if it would have gone too far there. Yes, dumb wrestling joke. I love my dumb wrestling jokes there.
Probably his action movie career has been forever truncated, but who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened. He's a remarkably engaging fellow. I like Jeremy Renner a lot, so I'm glad that he didn't die. I'm very glad. I mean, because you can die.
I actually knew someone, a local drunk in Burbank, who was friends with Jeremy Renner and came over like right at the same time to Hollywood as he did, or shortly before or after. And Renner just stop giving him the time of day. And after knowing this drunk for a little bit, it's like, yeah, I see why Renner walked away from you as a friend, buddy. Put down the beer for a long... When I met that drunk, he was actually insightful and very witty, and I never met that person again. I only saw the drunkard Norm Peterson and Barney Gumble and get them even drunker type. Never again did I see that witty fellow. And Jeremy Renner, you were right in letting him go as a friend.
Like that, something stupid can happen. The kid who played Chekhov in the new Star Trek movies was run over by his own Jeep.
I already mentioned Yelton.
How horrible is that? I forget what his name.
And he did a great job in Odd Thomas. I loved Odd Thomas. The romantic relationship, that's one of the few movie romantic relationships. Well, I'm sure there's more than a few, but that one got me. The Odd Thomas and his girlfriend dynamic really hit me. It reminded me of me and my weirdo girlfriend.
His name was. Let's see. There was, of course, all the Trump indictments. There was Matthew Perry's death in October.
Odd Thomas
when
was
he
a book
drowned in his own hot
snake.
tub.
Was that a Stephen King? Or I should know more. Loving the movie of Odd Thomas as much as I do, trying to reach for who the author was.
They were telling us that an El Nino winter is coming. It seems like there's always something that makes the weather that's coming particularly bad or undesirable. After a while, you just stop caring. It's kind of like
Dean Koontz. Thank you, G. Rob. I knew it was one of the big horror writers, Dean Koontz, not Stephen King, who did the Odd Thomas series. I should check that out. I absolutely love that movie, and they were going to do a series of them. It was in the plans until Anton Yelchin taken down by the mail. A conspiracy between the USPS and the emergency brake on his car took Anton Yelchin.
The news stories year after year after year about how much it sucks to be a farmer because either there's too much rain or there's not enough rain or prices are too high or prices are too low. It just sucks to be a farmer. And the weather is just never going to be what we want it to be. And then, of course, there was the Wagner military group who
he doesn't use his mute button often. Then again, the sniffs, you do catch me doing that. That seems to be something of a more quick bodily function that I miss. So I will deduct half a point for the not being muted, but a whole point for that cough you didn't mute earlier.
Tried to stage a coup or threatened to stage a coup against Putin and then was mysteriously killed. It, was plane accident. Air travel very dangerous.
That guy looked just like Mike from Breaking Bad. The general who was marching on Moscow, and then they laid down their guns. It's fun watching another society break down instead of your own.
I don't know.
Sure, it's fun watching this society break down, but ooh boy, Russia going civil war. What's gonna? Oh, they laid their weapons down. Damn it. Can't wait for the continuation. A non-suspicious plane crash. Stop that from happening.
Oh, that was not much of a Russian accent. Wagner military group head killed. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Wagner group leader, killed in plane crash. Yeah, I'll bet he was. He was buried in a private funeral nearly a week after he and 9 others died in a plane crash in Russia. About 20 to 30 people attended the 40-minute VIP funeral. Go.
Get funeral over with. No one think about this too much. Spurgsnake actually pointing out that Phil Elmore, I could be very, very good for you. Spurgsnake would like you more if you had someone to push him in the right direction, but you're a bit too pompous and ego-driven for this fellow here. And come on back. Come on back, Phil. I can help you seem less ego-centric and take the brunt of some of the internet's goofing on. Well, you did reveal very much how much it hurts you when your sexuality is goofed on and when your brother's goofed on. So I can't take that back. They're going to focus on that. Even if you do have me here as a target of goof on me, internet, goof on me, you already revealed your weaknesses. And the trolls know where to aim those stones from under that bridge.
Prigozhin, a businessman who rose to become a powerful international paramilitary leader, was a former close ally of Vladimir Putin.
Minus another point for that cough.
Yeah, there's two kinds of allies.
What was that?
Vladimir Putin. Current allies and dead ones. His private plane mysteriously crashed on August 23 near the town of Kujinkino, north of Moscow.
Yeah, no way I'd be able to pronounce that. Pronunciating Russian words, those to my English eyes are scary words.
DNA tests showed that the remains recovered from the site matched all 10 people on the passenger list. I'll bet they did.
See, I muted that cough. 1 point for me, minus 2.5 points for Phil.
Bills player Damar Hamlin still sedated a day after collapsing from a cardiac arrest on the field. Now, why is
minus 3.5 points, Phil?
that? That's number 16, but it's also number 1. Okay, I remember that story now in the context of a football player. There was, of course, the Hamas.
I remember the conspiracies going around, like he got the jab, see, and there are some young people who got the jab having heart attacks. So hopefully I won't have a heart attack. I got a few of the boosters. No, I guess I only got one of the boosters. My roommate got, I believe, all of the boosters. So if we die young of a heart attack, just throw us in that conspiracy theorist statistic there.
Hamas terror attacks on Israel and the resulting war that is still going on and shows no signs of letting.
Muted that burp. 2 points for me, minus 3.5 points for Phil.
Yep. Trump mentioned he was going to be arrested, and of course, the Trump mugshot happened this year.
Legendary mugshot.
A 6-year-old shot his teacher. That's something that happened. This was in Virginia. A 6-year-old boy was taken into police custody after he shot a teacher at Rich.
Didn't curate this beforehand, Phil Elmore. I think you should have curated this a little more beforehand. You're just checking out the 100 list and I think you should have curated which ones you were going to talk about. And I guess there is a fine line because these videos I do in the co-host auditions, I preview them a little bit. Well, this one, none at all. But a lot of new people incoming, I will preview the video to make sure that they are good fodder and then let it go. Because I want this to be a legit back and forth between a potential co-host and host. And the react versus the curating things much more is a fine line to draw. You should have curated this top 100 list a bit more. You're doing it off the fly there.
Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia. The individual is a 6-year-old student. A female teacher was shot inside a classroom and added that this was not an accidental shooting. So, wow. 6-year-old child comes in with a gun and whacks his teacher. Clown world, ladies and gentlemen. It only gets worse. Lisa Marie.
Clown world means lots of lady clowns. Woohoo! Yay.
Presley died. I want to say that there was drugs involved in that. She died at the age of 54. The only daughter of the late Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley died Thursday, hours after being hospitalized following an apparent cardiac arrest. It doesn't say here if there was anything.
Did she get the Michael Jackson disease? Because Priscilla Presley... wait. No, Priscilla Presley was in the Naked Gun movies. It was her daughter that was... Now I'm just confusing myself unnecessarily. But I am going to take a little break. Thank you, Scott Fitzpatrick. Flick that bean button, you effing cowards. We're about halfway through this episode, which is the time that I get in the shill segment, asking you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when I go live, 11:30 a.m. Eastern for now, but I believe that'll be moving once I do get a job. Dillon from somewhere at gmail.com. If you would like to be on Chatting with Beloved Chatters, I do have a Discord. It's getting a little more active. We got the psychopaths out of there, which is why I shut down the voice chat for a while, but the voice chat is now open. And tomorrow on What Is This Game with Annie O'Ryan, we will be covering Batman Arkham Asylum, the Switch port. I have been very excited to get back into that, and I am currently solving the end of the Riddler challenges and about to battle the Joker, so it looks like I will be in time to finish that game. I thought I would get into New Game Plus a little bit, before I got into it, but I will be finishing it just in time for What Is This Game tomorrow after TikTok Around the Clock at 1 p.m. Eastern over on Annie O'Ryan's What Is This Game channel. Now, back to our buddy, Phil Elmore.
Anything about drugs. In 2020, her son...
I do miss drugs. Putting in job applications. I have got to pee yellow, not pee green. I miss my drugs.
Benjamin Keogh died of suicide at the age of 27. Oof, that's rough. There's a lot of tragedy in that family. All right, we'll leave that there. I told you everything was horrible,
family.
And it clearly is.
You can see all the tragedy in the Von Erich family in The Iron Claw. Unfortunately, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the wrestler, he got an executive producer credit, but his role in the movie was reduced to that of basically an extra, whereas the role of a lifetime that I had was completely cut out and no one will ever see it. But at least the crew knows.
Of course, the wildfires in Maui that pretty much leveled the island.
Space laser.
The Chinese spy balloon story. We've talked about that this week. Last week, because this is the 1st of January. Excuse me.
Losing another point there, Phil, for the mouth noises. Do you not know where the mute button is? Because I do. And I will turn it on and turn it to illustrate I know where the mute button is, but you don't.
Let's see. A 9-year-old daughter went missing on a camping trip in October. Parents of 9-year-old who went missing on New York camping trip received ransom note before daughter was found. Charlotte Cena, the 9-year-old girl who went missing while on a camping trip at a New York
We can't see her.
State Park 2 days ago, has been found safe, and a suspect has been detained. Before she was found, Charlotte's parents received a ransom note at their home. The governor...
How could they find Cena? They can't see her.
Outlined the meticulous work by authorities after they found the note and the crucial piece of evidence that led to a break in the case. Governor Kathy Hochul said the break in the case came around 4:20 a.m. Monday when the suspect drove to Charlotte's parents' home.
Oh, here it comes again. Gee, Rob, thank you for the compliment on my mute button skills. And here I paused it just in time. And Phil Elmore was doing this longer than I was, even though that his channel is now defunct. He decided to take his flashlight into the darkness and not do any more. He was doing this for longer than I am. He should know where the mute button is. Prepare yourself, everyone. Here comes another cough. Is this minus 4.5 or 5.5 points now? I've lost track. I believe I have 2 points, maybe 3 points. Yeah, I should have been tallying these down to see how many more points I have. Well, I didn't know I would be doing this gimmick of scoring for using the mute button. But good Lord, Phil.
And hand-delivered the ransom note. That wasn't smart. The family's home was being monitored by state police. Officers had been sent to another call in the area.
Ooh, a double shot of not using the mute button. And another. I am just running away with this mute button scoring versus Phil Elmore racking them up.
When the suspect dropped off the note. Of course they were. Police tested the document for fingerprints and searched law enforcement databases. On their second try, they got...
And there's the host of What Is This Game tomorrow. I will have a little extra set piece behind me of the Batman versus Elmer Fudd comic. I kind of wanted to get the other cover to this one as well. It's the exact same comic, but it has more of the Batman style rather than the Elmer Fudd style. And this was a whole limited series. I believe it had 2 volumes. The DC versus Looney Tunes, and this is actually a really good one. I should have checked out some more of them. They're probably a lot more just as interesting as the other ones. But Annie O'Ryan been here the whole time and been sleeping in this cold ass weather. It's understandable. Just fucking sleeping in. Some coffee would help, and yeah, when it's just shitty weather, I sometimes skip the shower and skip the coffee. Fuck it, no one's gonna see me. Both those things help in getting me awake and alert, but on shitty weather days, it's like, yeah, fuck both those things.
got back results identifying fingerprints left on the note belonging to 47-year-old Craig Nelson Rose Jr. Investigators were able to determine Craig Nelson Ross Jr. Ross was living in a camper behind his mother's residence and used 2 SWAT teams to make entry, which is a lot of overkill after the fact. What we need to stress here is this was not meticulous work by the
No points lost for that little.
authorities. They got lucky. They were watching the house and then got called away to another call instead of continuing to watch the house. That, of course, is when the ransom note was hand-delivered by the suspect. They're just lucky they were able to trace the fingerprint on the note. Clearly, the criminal, not a
Using Batman detective mode.
mastermind. But, I mean, come on. That does not make the police look good.
I feel like you're losing steam here only 10 minutes in. You really do need a co-host to help poke you and stuff when you're not just going off on the stuttering fuckface, which I think I've done pretty well this episode. I am quite the stuttering fuckface on some episodes.
Tucker Carlson, of course, was out at Fox News this past year and has become something of a media juggernaut since then, including this recent bizarre interview with Kevin Spacey as his House of Cards character. The Dalai Lama apologized after video asking a child to suck his tongue sparked outcry. As well it should have. We all kind of collectively just forgot about that story, but it happened. Not sure the Dalai Lama is somebody you want to leave alone with your children. Never thought I'd use that sentence out loud.
Did anyone ever say to you, hello, Dolly?
Chinese zoo sun bear viral controversy. Do you remember this? This was the bear in a Chinese zoo that people were convinced was a dude in a suit. The jury's still out as to whether it was a dude in a suit or whether just sun bears are weird looking. Let's see. Italy's other leaning tower on high alert for collapse. What's the other leaning tower?
So they've just got a leaning tower. Who are these engineers building all these leaning towers? Don't they know it's supposed to be straight?
It's the leaning tower that has stood tipsily but steadily for nearly 1,000 years. That's because they braced it. The days of the Garisenda Tower in Bologna, Italy.
You know what? I'm going to jump a little bit. Our buddy Phil here is losing steam. I've done a lot of co-hosting in this episode. Usually I'm more than 13 minutes in at 40 minutes into my own show. But let's jump a few minutes into the future of this episode.
And this is the first I've heard of it, and only because I'm looking at this retrospective piece. It just is no longer dominant. Why? Oh.
It's a switch. It is now a sub because it met the perfect Lady Dom.
Let's see. I still think every time
DOM, male Dom. DOMME, Lady Dom.
Reminded of the fact that Matthew Perry essentially drowned in his own hot tub, I think about what a horrible way to die that is. Here's a story about the vampire straw confiscated from a traveler in Boston. You can buy metal drinking straws that are cut off.
And no one did better from that Matthew Perry drowning joke than our good buddy Kevin Brennan. What do you think, Chuck McGill, of that Kevin Brennan joke about Matthew Perry?
What a sick joke!
I thought it was proper, but Chuck McGill, not a fan of Kevin Brennan poking fun at Matthew Perry's death.
Cut off at the end to make them a stabbing implement. It's basically a people spigot. And these are sold explicitly for self-defense. Excuse me. And one of those such self-defense implements was taken by a traveler through Boston Logan International Airport.
The traveler? Like the one that Wesley Crusher went away with after Star Trek The Next Generation was like, all right, we really do need to get rid of this Wesley Crusher motherfucker.
And he got
Use your thoughts to travel.
Arrested because you can't do that. This is a product by Lacey Sabo, a person who is known to me. He's a great dude. He makes a variety of self-defense products, and the vampire straw is on the saboinc.com website. The straw's strength, length, and dagger-like point make it a defense weapon. The company's website labels it
Strength, length, dagger. You forgot girth. When taking in what makes a good straw, length and girth and how you use it all apply.
as such. And so this guy tried to essentially take a covert weapon through airport security, which is a stupid thing you should never, ever do. Massachusetts State Police told CNN that the straw was prohibited under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 269, Section 10, Paragraph B, which bans carrying certain edged instruments that include stilettos and daggers. And of course, Massachusetts has a long history of
Sheila Alien's man was a fan of Phil Elmore. Hopefully we can lull him back. Come on, you just need a co-host that is easily goofable on, right here, to take that heat off of you. I can't believe how sensitive Phil was to the goofing on, jumping headfirst into a community that goofs on people. You silly Phil. And yeah, I can help you there, Philip. Do a little back and forth, keep you on track. As Spurgsnake said, keep your ego in check a little bit.
Of hostility towards various edge weapons. There was a time 20, 30 years ago when if you went into Laurie Cabot's witch shop in Salem, you were told that it is possible to buy a double-edged knife, which is considered a ceremonial knife among Wiccan and pagan types, as long as you also bought something else. Like
that is a good question, beloved chatter. Maybe Phil Elmore is taking time away to do a straw self-defense book. His flashlight self-defense book did very well. So hopefully in this time away, he is focusing on his straw self-defense book and will come back. And right here, we have a few people, Spurgsnake and Sheila Aliens, both promoting that I would help make a good co-host to you and help get you on track and stay on track and take the heat off of you with being such a goofable little fucker that I am.
A book. You couldn't buy the knife by itself. 20, 30 years later, I went back to Laurie Cabot's witch shop in Salem, and I was like, hey, is that still a thing? And they looked at me like I was insane and said, no, it is not still a thing. No one was really sure what to tell me about that, but I remember that distinctly. And so I told them I'd see them in another 20 or 30 years. Because that's a thing that I do. I go back to the same places decades later. U.S. jet shoots down unidentified object over northern Canada. Do you remember this story? It turned out it was probably actually...
Not a cough, but that was a funny little... Oh, now I'm worried for your health after making fun of that small little pause you had there.
A completely harmless weather balloon. We were a little jumpy after the spy balloon thing. The Earth's inner core may have stopped.
I wasn't really paying attention to Phil's studio here. I do worry that it might be a little loud with as many puppets. I might need to half the puppets, and it's very loud behind Phil here. And I wonder what you think of Phil's studio there, Jay Sherman.
It stinks.
Well, that's more of a hygiene thing. I was talking about the visual presentation, but Jay Sherman says it does not smell well in that studio.
Stop turning? Let's hope not. I think there's an entire movie devoted to that with Hilary Swank. Horrible Thai bungee jumping accident video. We can skip right over that. Government shutdown deadline back in September.
Let's see, we're 43 minutes in and 18 minutes into that. While you're jumping over that, let's jump over a few of these stories and there. Let's continue from here and we'll take this to the end.
Baiju? Isn't Baiju also something that they call, isn't that also like a negative term for a foreigner?
Baiju Phillips?
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Who was Bijou Phillips' husband? Wasn't her husband one of the creeps that got caught doing sexual stuff? I'd have to look that up to survive that news story, but I'm pretty sure Bijou Phillips was married to a creep who was exposed.
The social media influencer died.
Was it Danny Masterson? Was Bijou Phillips married to Danny Masterson? Was it that creep?
Soon after live streaming himself drinking several bottles of strong alcohol on China's version of TikTok. state-run media in the country are reporting.
Yes.
The influencer,
Beloved chatter is confirming that Bijou Phillips and Danny Masterson was indeed the creep that hottie was absolutely attracted to. Sheila Aliens giving the visual of Phil's background an 8 out of 10. And also that a Bijou is a dog belonging to a gay man. Good to know. Sheila Aliens is a nice fact checker here. Phil, she might need a paycheck if you ever come back to the internet to be the fact checker on Surviving the News.
Brother 3000 was found dead just hours after broadcasting himself taking part in a competition with a fellow influencer, which involved drinking baijiu, a Chinese spirit with a typical alcohol content of between
drinking baijiu, drinking a gay man with a dog. Woo!
Between 30 to 60%.
Salty.
Woof. Well, natural
went
selection
salty,
at
he
work,
went woof.
Bear walks out of ocean into crowded Florida beach. It's time to go home when the bears just walk out of the surf. Like, oh, look, a bear. We're leaving. We're leaving the beach.
You must be the bear, right, Phil? You're not the twink. Look at you.
An Alabama woman who went missing after reporting a toddler walking on the interstate has returned home. As I recall, that was all a hoax. Let's look that up.
Yeah, a lot of pauses here in which a co-host would help fill those silences since you aren't curating these as much. Yeah, I'm going to give you shit for not curating these stories that you're going to read throughout, as me not fully curating a video that I'm reacting to. That's the point of the show, as I said before.
No more vampire straw. No more fishing competition hoax. An Alabama woman who went missing after telling a 911 dispatcher that she saw a toddler walking alone on the side of the interstate has returned home. Carly...
Just perusing the story as he goes. That sounds like some bear-on-bear action, Sheila Aliens, between Zenhauser and Phil. I think that's a double bear. I don't think there's a twink in sight between those two.
Nicole Russell had been missing since Thursday night. Let me look her up by name, because I think that was found to be...
And Sheila Aliens pointing Phil picks the shittiest fake old dumb news articles to cover. Yeah, he's reading a top 100 list. He should have curated this a little more. I understand him. Actually, no, I don't really understand him wanting to do the full react on something that he's reading. Something that you're just reading over. This calls for curating. Something that you're reacting to video style. That's more in line with being unbearable. That's a twink on twink relationship, Sheila Aliens. Definitely getting some flack from both myself and the chat here for trying to do a react on these top 100 stories rather than curating them and presenting. You have 25 minutes here, probably a dozen, 5 to a dozen prepare beforehand.
Be a hoax. Alabama nursing student Carly Nicole Russell was found guilty of false kidnapping in order to pay about $18,000 in restitution.
False kidnapping. I've heard of kidnapping. I've heard of false imprisonment. False kidnapping. So like a fake kidnapping that you do for attention, right? Is that what the story is?
And spend a year in jail. Interesting. Her appeal is still in process. She made national headlines when she called 911 to report a toddler missing.
We're still on that story.
When Hoover police officers arrived on the scene after her call, within 5 minutes of being dispatched, she was missing. They located her car, her cell phone, a wig, and a purse. Her Apple Watch was in her purse. A search was launched. A large group of volunteers also assisted. She returned home 2 days later, telling one.
Oh, well, work is hard. What? Oh! They're getting closer all the time. All right.
If you would have curated these stories, you would not have been Harry Shearer right now, Mr. Elmore.
Law enforcement that she had been kidnapped and escaped. She said she was in a truck trailer with a man who she said had orange hair and was accompanied by a woman. She also said she could hear a baby crying. Police were unable to verify her report, and a week later, she issued a statement saying the kidnapping was a hoax and apologized. Russell's attorney said he would appeal the decision in circuit court.
I will keep that in mind, beloved chatter, to have some sugar cubes ready if Phil Elmore does indeed choose me as his co-host. Some sugar cubes to keep him going would help. His blood sugar is dropping. I wonder if there was actually a gag of someone having diabetes, but they had so much sugar in their diet all the time that they were undiagnosed for years. Is that what's going on with you, Mr. Elmore?
The judge agreed with the appeal, the court director said, and the case will now go to circuit court. So, yeah, that was all something that never happened. Let that be a lesson to you. Sometimes the news is horrible.
Feeding sugar cubes up the ass would get them to activate a lot more. Would it be quickly? I haven't done the alcohol up the ass like the kids have. All the Zoomers have been doing. I hear that does wonders for getting the effects very fast and very intense. So there's a kitty at the door. Once again, the pussy is knocking the door down. But yeah, up the ass with the sugar cubes will help them be fast acting and very intense. A dozen donuts is part of the co-host contract. Yeah, that does make sense. I will make sure that they will be the glazed donuts, the very sugariest of the donuts. I shall let the kitty in. Yes, Sheila. Take it away, Phil. You only got a couple minutes left. Oh, you've got a minute left.
Horrible, and everything sounds bad. And sometimes some of that bad stuff was just completely made up because some people would prefer to tell you about things that are horrible than to actually have experienced things that are horrible, and it's not really clear why they do that because people are a-holes. You heard it here first, folks. And that was a review of some of the dumpster fire stories of 2023. Let's hope 2024 is better, but let's be honest, it won't be. So we here at Surviving the News will be here to help you get through it no matter what, as we cover what I'm sure will be an unpredictable slate of stories headed into the new year. All right, I have been a cold-addled Phil Elmore. This has been Surviving the News. Until next time, do your best to survive the news.
And that was Phil Elmore. That is that was my roommate's cat, but the cat chose me. So I believe I should start paying for the cat. You know how cats domesticated themselves. We didn't domesticate cats like we did dogs. Cats came down, and the mountain lions came down and domesticated us humans to take care of them. And this kitty cat, she told my roommate owner, nope, this guy is my owner now, so I should really start paying for this cat's shit. So that was Phil Elmore and Surviving the News, the last episode that he had on January 1st. And that is all for that portion of the show. Now on to the second portion where we go to TikTok for some related content. And this related content is a fat guy talking about fat guy stuff. He isn't talking about self-defense as Phil does. He's just talking about being a fat guy. So take it away. What's your name? Don Julio Papi. Tell us what it's like being a fat guy.
We're fat guys. We always have a beard because we hide the double chin.
Fuck you, bitch. We're fat guys. We always wear a hoodie so we can look skinny.
We're fat guys. We're always going to make fun of that fat guy that's fatter than us just to feel better about ourselves.
We're fat guys. And are you going to finish it? Are you going to eat it? Finish it? Eat it?
Fucking fat ass. Here, just have it, bro.
Yeah.
We're fat guys.
He hadn't even started it yet. Super fat guy. That food you haven't started. Are you going to finish it? Gimme.
We still keep our old clothes, hoping it one day fit, but it'll never fit because we're fat as fuck.
We're fat guys. We buy oversized t-shirts so they could fit us like regular t-shirts.
That's you,
Fucking
damn.
crazy.
We're fat guys. We're always asked why girls never want to hit us up, but we'll never talk to a fat bitch.
Sheila Aliens, okay with fat guys and short guys if they are 7 inches plus. What about like 7 inches on the dot, like more like 6 3/4 inches? And is 5'8" a short guy? Those are 2 questions asking for me, because I am 5'8" and I have got a wiener that is just slightly out of porno range, because you want an 8-inch wiener for your pornos. And Ennio Ryan posting some kitty pictures over in my Discord, which you can find right here. I should pick a final name, a regular name, because I do currently have it on the rotating expiring one. And of course, Ennio Ryan, me and her tomorrow. What is this game with Batman Arkham Asylum on the Switch? A good port, and I am looking forward to talking about that on her channel. What is this game tomorrow afternoon? That was our TikTok video with a fat guy. And now on to my favorite part of the show, here from Ghostlight Odyssey. Ghostlight Odyssey. We have some Vegas clowns. We have Officer Sugar and Officer Spice. The Officer Sugar and Officer Spice are the fun police, which you can find in Las Vegas.
Everyone, that is a fucking wrap.
That was Officer Spice. Now let's hear from Officer Sugar.
Is it worth it? Oh yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.
I am strong enough for Officer Sugar. I will take that journey into Officer Sugar, absolutely. And now our final, Officer Sugar and Officer Spice together.
Got the titties, she got the ass together. Bad bitches.
Bad bitches, Officer Sugar and Officer Spice together there. And someone asking for the Discord link. It is at the top of the chat, where when I remember it to put the Discord link and the What Is This Game link. That was the episode for today. Thanks for tuning in a bit late, Kinky Loco. Do you think Phil will come out of retirement after seeing the potential partnership with you? I would like him to come back. He does have something. He has a good speaking voice. He has some opinions. I think he's a dickbag for trying to get a comedy show canceled. But that does get some nice tension in between the host and the co-host starting off the bat. And as I mentioned of Charlotte Dobray, her and I agree probably a bit too often to be host and co-host. But her audience does lean more towards the 2030s, where mine leads more towards the 30s, 50s. So there might be something there. We will see. And yeah, hopefully Phil Elmore will come back to the internet after getting a good bit into his book on defending yourself with a straw. We can only hope that he will come back. Thanks for joining Hack Ride. Phil's just at Fat Camp. He'll be back. Hack Ride is saying that he's at Fat Camp, and after Beloved Chatter mentioned writing a book on defending yourself with a straw, I think he is writing a new defense book on how to defend yourself with a straw to go in the series with how to defend yourself with a there you go, Kitty. How to defend yourself with a flashlight, which he is most known for. Kitty, you're covered up by the microphone. You chose a weird spot to be. Kitty is when she comes in, she always chooses to be slightly off camera. So there's a shot, a nice pussy shot. I don't think this pussy shot will get me demonetized, but I do believe that the F word, the gay F word, will get this video demonetized before I have the opportunity to get monetized. Yeah, we are all, I believe, in a cold front. It is fucking freezing outside here, Kinky Loco. All the kids, they called it ahead of time. Don't even come in. Fucking forget about it. It's cold. It's too snowy out. And Kitty, if you would stay on the lap, I think you might help me get some views. But as Sheila Aliens pointed out, Calico is going to do what Calico's going to do. Kinky Loco says, hi, Kitty. Thank you all for tuning in for this episode. This was co-host auditions with Phil Elmore. And I haven't booked a guest for chatting with beloved chatters, so I believe that Tony Khan will be coming up on Thursday's episode of Co-Host Auditions, TikTok Around the Clock, with the return of Tits Chopperson and Anita Fitmom, two of my favorite hotties. They are everyone's type. I say I like a curvy lady, but those two looking very good with their very fit bodies. And tomorrow on What Is This Game with Annie, we are talking about the Switch port of Arkham Asylum. And I will have this beautiful piece in the background tomorrow to promote that. I could have had it in the background today. Oh, look at you being so cute, Kitty. Thanks for taking us out with being absolutely adorable there, Kitty Cat. So thank you all for joining. And now feel free to go away.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for going on this adventure with me. It's fun being with friends. I'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Places all join hands, circle left. Now circle right and listen to me. LS, MFT. Elementary corners like swinging on a gate. To right to your honey with the right to left date. Grand right and left around you go. Lucky strike means fine tobacco. Meet your honey and give her a whirl. All swing around with the little girls. Smoke 'em, then you'll see. LS, MFT. Promenade and don't you fall. Promenade around the hall. Lucky strike is first again with tobacco men. Promenade straight down the pike. It's time right now for a lucky strike. Yes, for smoking that you're bound to like, you just can't beat a lucky strike.